I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer for the night is Saloon-style Pilsner Pale Lager. Brewed and canned by Lone Rider Brewing Company in Raleigh, North Carolina.
How did you just say?
Raleigh?
What? Raleigh, sweetie.
Raleigh. It's 4.2% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. Tight-lipped and stoic, our sessionable saloon-style Pilsner has only one mission, quenching thirst. This straw-colored beer, medium-bodied and crystal clear, is sure to leave you wanting another. Brewed with lemon peel, ales for outlaws. Those are a couple different sections of the can. I just wanted to get it all on there. But that's the general idea. About it, I'm not much of a Pilsner drinker. I prefer there to be a whole lot more flavor in the beer, but this one is really, really good. It's a really good Pilsner. You would be hard-pressed to find a better one, I think. I like it quite a bit. You can really taste that pale aspect as well as the subtle hints of that lemon peel in there. This is just a new favorite Pilsner, I think. We might try this again someday.
It's refreshing. It's nice. That's not the kind of beer that I gravitate towards, but it's something that I could, if it was hot outside and those were cold, I would definitely drink a couple of those. So
They're very light, very easy to drink. I recommend them to anyone just about. It's definitely just something everybody can enjoy, I feel like.
Yep.
It's not a specialty. It's just good. Give it an 8.5 out of 10. Our shot in the dark for the night is Tennessee Mountain Made Salty Caramel Whiskey. We've had this on the show before. It's produced and bottled by Old Smoky Distillery, LLC in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. 30% alcohol by volume. Refer to episode 11 for the full review. We gave it a 9 out of 10 because it's real freaking good. And we're going to enjoy it again tonight.
And I can't wait till November when we go back and get its cousins.
Yeah. Well, we'll go to Old Smoky, but we're definitely going to go to Sugarlands.
Yeah,
that's for
Sugarland's
sure.
my favorite, but I do enjoy the Old Smoky. Plus, Old Smoky usually has like bluegrass bands or something outside of the little shop in the touristy area.
They do.
It's really fun to listen to because I like that kind of thing.
Well, since we're on Old Smoky right now, this is a good one. We're going to drink it again. We recommend it for anyone. It's fantastic. 9 out of 10 overall. That's it for the alcohols tonight.
Huzzah.
Leah, what do we have next?
I think we should go into funny place names.
Okay, let's do that.
All right. Today, we're going to Cut and Shoot, Texas.
Is that cut-in-shoot?
Cut and shoot.
And? 3
separate words.
Well, all right.
Cut and Shoot, Texas. So this is the story that they had on Mental Floss. That is my source. Because they have a lot of those listicles.
Listicles?
Listicles, you know.
Listicles, testicles, wallet, and watch?
No, like an article that's not actually an article. It's just a list.
Yes,
Listicle.
I understand.
So from the story that they've put on here, basically, in the early 1900s, there was a group of townsfolk, and they were fighting over the church for some reason. Now, some people say they were fighting over the steeple, what kind of steeple they were going to put on it. Some people said that they were fighting over which denomination could use the church at what time. And then another story is that there were church members that had land claims and they were like fighting over that. So it had something to do with the church folk and it had something to do with them fighting, but they don't know exactly what it was. But whatever happened, it got a little violent because 1900s Texas, why not? So apparently a little boy at the scene declared that his family was gonna take up a position and, this is the quote, cut around the corner and shoot through the bushes.
Nice.
To make sure that they got whatever they were fighting for in church. I don't know.
Well,
seems a little iffy.
It could
to
be
me.
anything. Probably the first piece of pie.
But, so the matter went to court because apparently that's a thing. And the judge was talking to the witnesses, and the witness didn't really know what to call the area because the area didn't have a town name. And he told the judge, I mean, I suppose you could call it the place where they had that cutting and shooting incident. So they just called it Cut and Shoot Texas, and there she blows. Cut and Shoot Texas.
Well, it's, again, quick and easy. That's the way I like them. Don't make it too complicated when you're naming a town. Just do what's simple.
Well, generally doing what's simple just means naming it after whatever old white man is nearby.
I was about to say whatever crazy old blue hair came through. But we basically said the same thing.
What's a blue hair?
An old person.
Why is their hair blue?
I don't know, Leah. That's just a thing. I mean, you've never heard of that? You've never heard of old people being called blue-haired or having blue hair?
No.
Just another word for gray hair.
But gray hair's gray and blue hair's blue, and I would love to have blue hair. But probably not gray hair. Silver hair, though, I could be down for.
All right. Well,
if you're not going to defend your statements.
There's nothing to defend. You can just look it up.
All right. Oh, so that was our funny place name, sir.
I enjoyed it.
Woo.
Oh, and we should say, Leah's all better, so she is drinking again.
I am better. I no longer have the plague or the other plague or that other plague. So
all three plagues wiped out.
All three plagues have been wiped out by the joys of modern medicine. Mm-hmm. Thank you, doctor.
Steroids. Mostly.
Steroids and antibiotics and herpes medication. Yeah. Oh my.
Is the herpes medication just a steroid, though?
No, it's something completely different.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Oh, I keep bumping my mic. Sorry. Excuse me for that. Well, what do we have next?
I guess we're going to have to go into our stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody contacted us for listener mail?
I'm sure they did, but the ones that they did they were all like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you have pneumonia. Please don't die." No. And I was like, "Oh, thanks. That's really sweet of you."
Well, thank each of you individually for those kind messages. No, seriously,
I really appreciate everybody checking in on me and making sure that I hadn't suffocated. But, you know, most of the listener mail this week was definitely of the, you know, shingles was the worst thing I've ever been through. I'm sorry it's happening to you. Then pleurisy is the worst thing I've ever been through. I'm sorry it's happening to you. And then, oh my God, pneumonia is the worst. I'm so sorry it's happening to you. And sometimes all three at once. So
yeah. I'm sorry that all three of the worst things that happened to me are happening to you at one time.
Oh, it was a rough month. But you know what? It was.
But now we're drinking again.
I've got salted caramel in my cup, and it's going to be lovely.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, it's really good so far. We just put some Coca-Cola with it. It's delicious.
It is delicious.
I love this stuff.
But as far as listener mail goes, if you do want to send us listener mail, please send it to my email. I would love to talk to you, love to hear from you. If you've got a suggestion for something you want us to talk about, if you've got an alcohol that you want us to review, if you own a brewery and you want to have us come out and do something live, baby, we're here for you all day. Just
listen, baby,
slide into my inbox. Yeah. We'll take care of you real well.
Whoa,
Sorry.
I didn't enjoy that at all.
This is the first time I've drank in a few days, so excuse me.
Well, we do have another ad from our friends at the Dead Time Stories podcast. Woo. We've got a little deal going with them where we'll play one every week for a few episodes, and they'll do the same for us. So we're going to go right into that ad right now.
Hey guys, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we're the hosts of
Dead Time Stories.
Dead Time Stories,
with a Z,
is a weekly podcast where we tell you stories of ghosts, hauntings, mysteries, conspiracies,
the supernatural, paranormal,
the generally eerie, spooky,
and all around weird.
If you like scary stories, witty banter, and classy broads,
we're your ghouls.
Gals.
Some of our stories include Eastern State Penitentiary.
No!
And where is it?
Does it sound like 12? No! the Gettysburg Dime Museum,
They were like, show starts at 5, Mr. President. He was like, thank you, 5.
no, somebody, he was like, thank you, 5.
Fort Mifflin.
So the Americans burned down their own fort. They were like, oh, you British
want
this?
You want this? Come and get
Welcome
it.
to Philly.
And more.
New episodes are posted Thursdays at midnight on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Listen and subscribe, rate and review today.
Right, thanks, ladies. And if you're here from the Dead Time Stories podcast, welcome to Southern Spirits. Thanks for listening.
Welcome.
Hey.
You hope you enjoy fart jokes and people drinking a lot.
That's not all we do.
That's pretty much it, though. That's basically it.
And like I said, if you haven't checked them out yet, please do. They're really cool folk.
And I really enjoy their show.
Yeah, it's a great show. So, with that being said, all of our business has been attended to. Would you like to hear the first story that I have in my notes today, sir?
I would love to.
Alrighty. Well,
Tell me one.
we're going to Tarboro, North Carolina.
Tarboro?
Tarboro. Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking about the Tar River Banshee.
Excuse me. Tar River Banshee.
The Tar River Banshee.
Oh, God.
You got them all out before I get going on
Probably
this?
not, but go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this story takes place in Tarboro, North Carolina, on the banks of the Tar River. And we're talking about Revolutionary War era, so way back then.
Way back.
Way back. Well, I mean, not that way back, but, you know.
Well, for us.
For us. I mean, yeah, for us.
For me and you, relatively, that is a long
That
time
is
ago.
a long time. You're not wrong. All right. So, generally, banshees are definitely an Ireland, Scotland kind of wailing for the dead kind of thing. So how one ended up in North Carolina, we're about to find out. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So, during the beginnings of the Revolutionary War, there was a man living on the banks of the Tar River named, and this seems like a very modern name, but I'm going to run with it because that's what I've heard it
Can I
written
guess?
down as. Go ahead.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
All right. First guess. Todd.
No,
Okay.
it's Dave.
No, God damn it. I said let me guess. I said I was going to guess.
You did guess.
No, I was going to go to Tucker next. So, and then after that, probably Keith. So, I wouldn't have gotten there anyway. But
No, his name was Dave Warner, apparently.
okay.
And he was living in that area, and he was a miller. So he operated his mill on the shores of the Tar River, so it had the big water wheel that turned the grinding stones to grind the grain into flour. That's what he did all the time. And he was sympathetic to the revolutionary cause. He was, wanting to support the rebellion kind of thing. So he was using all of his business stuff to help grind flour and provide grain and that kind of thing for the army. And so Warner was a big old guy because it takes a lot of muscle to make sure that all of that stuff is going. So you've got to pick up those giant sacks of flour. It's a very labor intensive process to mill grain into flour at that point in time. So
Yes.
this is a big guy. Like he's rough and tough and
You can blow your house down.
that's a wolf. Not the same thing. Hold on. Ooh.
Nice.
Bubbles. Anyway, so he's this big old man with jet black hair and a big long beard, and he's got burly, muscular arms and legs, and he's built, just. Well, one day in August of, it says 1781, there was a guy from the nearby town that rode in to warn Dave about the redcoats nearby. They were coming in through town, making their way towards his mill because they were going to try to basically take over his milling operation to A, get the supplies for their own army, and B, shut off the supplies to the revolutionaries.
It's very strategic.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. And Dave was like, yeah, fuck those guys, right?
All right. Well, Dave sounds like a badass too.
Yeah, so the British knew Dave was a rebel, was providing all that stuff, so they were going to take his shit, and Dave was like, nah, I'm not running, I'm not hiding, this is my mill. I'm going to fuck up some British folk because I'm Dave, man.
I just want to.
What else am I going to do? I'm Dave.
I'm Trent, and I have to fuck some people up.
Anyway, so the guy went away and he's like, all right, fine. And then as the redcoats got closer to town, they kept coming back to Dave, the miller, being all like, dude, you should probably leave. But Dave was like, nah, guys, I got this. I'm going to fuck some British people up when they come. We're going to be good. No problem. Well, it turns out that the British rode into town and came to his mill, and they were like, hey, Dave, Dave, come out. Dave didn't come out. And they, Dave. Anyway, they got Dave out because it turns out that while he was a big, burly, strong, muscular man, when it's like 5-1, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're probably going to lose that.
So, he was fucked. And the British decided, you know what? He's a rebel. He's an asshole. He could have ran, but he didn't. Let's execute the motherfucker. So, how did they threaten to do it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, it's a shot in the dark.
Oh,
Sorry.
shot in the dark. Okay.
Hold on. Reverse. Shot in the dark.
Yes.
The British wanted to execute him. How did they threaten to do it? Was it A, hang him from a tree? Was it B, drown him in the river? Or was it C, crush him with the millstone?
Very nice disguising of your delivery there.
Yeah. Did the same cadence for each one. Whew. I'm sorry, this liquor is getting to me already.
What did they want to do to Hollingsworth?
His name was Dave.
I'm just trying to have really douchey modern names.
Chadwick.
Chadwick, yes, that's one. Ethan.
Grayson.
Grayson. I think that they wanted to take Yancey and drown him in the river.
They did.
Yes. When? Are you okay?
Can we call him Chauncey from now on?
Yes. He can be Chauncey instead of Yancey. Excuse me.
I'm gonna get real fucked up, and the next story is really complicated.
Oh, that's exciting.
At least I know I like this stuff.
Yeah, it's really delicious.
Wait, that's not a full shot.
It doesn't have to be full, Leah. Nobody's watching our shot. I'm ready when you are.
1, 2, 3.
Pretty pleasant, right?
That is such a good shot.
Yes, it is. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess never mind on that.
Oh, the burp got me.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is like a nice caramel sweet dream, and then I burped, and it was like, JK whiskey.
Yeah, it's actually very poor for your body.
Yeah.
But we're glad you enjoyed it.
I was gonna say, it does. It tastes like just this nice dessert, and then when you burp, you remember that you just made bad decisions.
Oh, we should totally fry some bacon in this stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
How good would that be?
I'm so in. Candied bacon? Fuck yeah.
Salted caramel whiskey bacon. Yeah, for real.
We need to get some of that good Costco bacon.
God, Costco bacon is the shit.
Anyway, let's get back to Chauncey. Dave, excuse me. His name's Dave.
Back to Dave Wick.
Davington.
Gaffigan. That's it. It's not Dave for short.
No.
It's Davington.
Oh, bless. All right. So they were like, all right, big man, we're going to throw you in the river because we're British and that's what we do. And Dave was like, all right, fine, but I'm going to warn you. If you throw me in the river, you motherfuckers. He said it that way too.
Did he?
No.
What? Why would you lie about that? What? All right. Fuck it. I'm just not going to listen to the rest of the story.
Sorry. He said, look, guys, if you throw me in the river, be warned that a banshee will haunt you for the rest of your days because she lives down by that river and we're close. And when the moon is all bright and the river's all dark and the mist gets all misty, you're gonna see her floating from bank to bank and you're gonna hear her long, shrill cry. And as soon as you hear that, you know that she's about to kill you. And the British people were like, oh, my bad. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Should we?
So they left.
So they're like, oh, this guy's a little creepy. I don't know if we should drown him or not. Don't know. But then one of the little redcoat guys was like, look, maybe we should just wait for our commander and let him drown the dude. Because, like, I don't want Banshee all up in my business, right? But there was another guy, and he was like, look, dude, the guy in charge was like, you gotta clear out the path, you gotta make it safe for the rest of the troops. This guy's in the way. It's our job to make sure that he's not in the way anymore. So he convinced the other 4 guys to go ahead and kill the miller. So what they did was they took several heavy stones, they chained it to Davington, and they tossed him in the Tar River.
Davesworth.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that's funny.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But they dumped him in the Tar River, and he sank to the bottom. And as he sank, you could hear a blood-curdling scream of a woman just wailing as he sank to the bottom of the river.
That's fucking creepy.
And as he sank to the bottom of the river, and that blood-curdling scream was heard, a really thick mist began to float up from the river, and it took the form of a woman with long, disgusting black hair. And she floated from bank to bank. It's a banshee. That's what they look like.
Why was it disgusting, though?
Because banshees are gross.
I just think just say untidy. That's just cruel.
I'm sorry.
It's unkind.
Whatever. She had fucked up hair, y'all.
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
So when the soldiers heard and saw that, they were like, oh shit, he wasn't kidding. So they ran back to camp as fast as they could, and by this point, the commander had made it all the way to the mill in the river, and everybody else had started to camp, by the bank of the river. Mm-hmm. And at that point, everybody in the camp began to hear the wail of this banshee, and everybody was like, okay, what the hell is that? And the people that murdered the miller got all kind of like guilty and freaked out, and they went to the commander and they were like, look, this dude said not to toss him in the river because there would be a banshee, but we did it anyway, and now there's a banshee.
Our bad.
Sorry.
Sorry. They walk up to the commander like, yeah, look.
About that.
Look, you might have heard the scream from a lady who had some unkempt hair. And the commander's like, yeah, I saw the bitch with the fucked up hair.
No, so the commander was like, guys, why the fuck? He told you, the Banshee, why would you do that? So the commander made the 5 men stay behind and work at the mill within hearing the, Banshee, within earshot of it, just because he wanted to shame them and make this story a little bit better. So it was there that they worked and they worked and they worked until one night the Banshee appeared to them in the doorway of the mill. Her veil was removed, and they could see her nasty, nasty face. And if you know Banshee folklore, you know as soon as you see that nasty, nasty face,
that's just uncalled for.
Her body's gonna die. So all of the men except one followed her back to the shore of the Tar River, and they drowned themselves in the river. And that last man, who was the one who convinced them all to kill the miller in the first place, he went crazy and ran off into the dark, and his body was discovered a few days later, floating in the river where they had tossed the miller.
Can we say that her face wasn't traditionally attractive?
Look, she's a monster. I think it's okay.
Can we say
Mitchell.
that she's not what we would call traditionally kind?
Rude.
Can we just not be so mean to this lady? To this Banshee?
Look, she's still there. And if you
She's still there right now?
Yeah.
I'll go talk to her.
It's August, and she haunts the Tar River in August.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Shit,
if
I'll
you
go.
were going to go to the Tar River, maybe don't do it in August, because this bitch is going to be there, especially if it's a moonlit night. Which, what night isn't moonlit? Let's be real.
If it's cloudy?
I guess, but like,
Or if it's a new moon?
Anyway.
Thank you.
Basically, if you don't want to die, don't go there.
I mean,
Because you might hear the Banshee's wail, and if you hear the Banshee's wail, you know what that means.
I have to drown myself?
No, not necessarily.
I'm just gonna die?
Or someone you love.
Well, what if I can talk her out of it, though? What if I'm the only person who's ever been kind to her entire existence, and she realizes the error of her ways?
She's not the ugly duckling. She's a
The ugly
murderous
duckling wasn't
spirit.
mean to people. It was just ugly.
The ugly duckling was also a swan.
Yeah. So, maybe the Banshee is a supermodel.
Or maybe the Banshee's a swan. Swans are mean as hell. I bet this whole thing started because
literally a swan
it's literally just
down
an
by the
angry
river just
honking
going,
swan. Nobody drowns in the river. They just accidentally trip and fall because that fucking asshole swan.
People are like that. This swan is making the worst noise, and I just need to drown myself
They're
to
super
get away from
mean.
it.
Like, did you know my brother's neighborhood got swans on their lake? The one across the street from him, they got swans on that lake, and they've got these like home owners associations newsletters that go around, and they keep having to say, seriously, don't approach the swans, they're really mean. Because kids keep trying to go up and feed them bread, and they're like biting the kids.
I don't think swans eat bread either. Ducks
You're
do.
not supposed to feed birds like that bread, but yeah, swans are just the worst. So my guess is it's a swan.
Well, we solved the Tar River problem. It's just swans.
It's just one really old, really cranky swan.
Release a pack of cheetahs. Your swan problem will be extinguished very quickly.
Where did you get cheetahs from?
Cheetahs can hunt down a swan.
I would think it would be wolves. Generally, it's wolves people let into places.
Well, I'd take a cheetah over a wolf any day.
They do have more spots.
I don't think I've ever seen a wolf with spots.
Because I don't think that's a common coat pattern for wolves.
So, whatever you're getting at.
I just like the pattern. That's it.
Well, yeah.
I'm a little drunk already.
Already?
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, yeah, you haven't drank in seriously weeks at this point. That's a problem.
Yep.
Are we ready for story number 2 then?
All right, so are you ready for our second story?
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we're doing a little bit of true crime.
I like true crime.
Yeah. Have
okay.
you ever heard of Ray Brent Marsh?
No. Should I have heard that?
Probably, yeah.
Well, then I might have. Not a lot of things stick in my brain.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the Tri-State Crematory?
No.
All right. Well, we're
I don't
heading
think so.
on down to Noble, Georgia, and we're going to talk about Ray Brent Marsh and his Tri-State Crematory.
Okay.
All right. So, a little background. The Tri-State Crematory was founded by Ray Brent Marsh's father, whose name was Tommy Marsh, and he started it in the mid-'70s. It was located in Noble, Georgia, which is sort of the northwest corner of Georgia, up there on the line. So they serviced, as the name would sort of suggest, the 3 states in that corner. So it's Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia.
Right.
In the 70s, cremation was starting to catch on in popularity, but in that sort of rural area, it was very difficult to get a cremation because there was just nowhere that was offering it. So he built this crematory on his family's property, and he was just a businessman and had a crematory, and it wasn't terribly regulated or anything because it was the 70s and nothing seemed to have been. But overall, he seemed to have been, a pretty well-respected businessman. But in the mid-'90s, he sort of got pretty sick. I never really read what was wrong with him precisely. But in 1996, he got so sick that he could not continue doing his job.
He couldn't keep cremating people? I don't think you need to be very well for that.
Well, I mean, you have to be able to, lift enough to put a body in an oven.
Yeah. I guess if you're a pussy. Whatever.
Sorry. So his son, Ray Brent Marsh, had to take over operation of the business. Now, he was at college at that point, and he had to give up his football career to take over, the family's business. Now, shot in the dark.
Already?
Yes.
Okay.
Ray Brent Marsh was a high school football star, and he was on scholarship to play football for a Division I Southern Conference school. What team was it? Was it A, the University at Tennessee, Chattanooga? Was it B, East Tennessee State University? Or C, West Carolina University?
B.
No, it was A. University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
All right.
Go Mocs.
Mocs?
Mocs, yeah.
What's a Mocs?
Mockingbirds.
Oh.
One of my friends went there. It's the only reason she was in the band. It's the only reason I know what their team was.
I'm surprised that you know that at all.
I do.
So she was in the mocking band?
Hey!
At S Spirits Podcast on Twitter.
Lots of puns.
I mean, I haven't been tweeting enough, but I may start pun tweeting all of our things. So, all right, shot time. Go. Quite nice. All right. Whew. Damn.
Roly chair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you know how he became the proprietor of the crematory. Now we're going to tell you why it's a thing. All right.
Okay.
So...
Why, what's a thing? The story?
Yeah.
In general? Okay.
Why the story is a story.
Okay.
So, in October of 2000, the propane gas driver, the guy, the tank delivery guy,
Yes.
you know?
Propane truck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He saw some weird shit.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, okay, something's wrong. I'm not delivering enough propane to these people, A. And B, pretty sure I see body parts scattered around the crematory.
Oh, that's fun.
And he was like, okay, that's not cool. So he contacts the sheriff's office, and he files a complaint with him, saying something's weird out there. Now,
something's weird at the crematory.
Yeah. Now, the sheriff's office
I'll check it out.
Sheriff's office decided that it was a regulatory issue and it wasn't a criminal issue, and he decided that, fuck it, not our problem.
Nice.
So...
It's my attitude with almost everything at my job.
Yep.
Fuck it.
So the next year, in 2001, in November, the EPA in Atlanta receives an anonymous tip that there are body parts in the woods near Tri-State Crematory. Now they send the sheriff's office out to do another check. The sheriff's office does a routine check. They don't find anything.
They didn't look for anything.
Hell no, they didn't look for anything.
Nice.
So then finally, in February of 2002, federal agents receive another anonymous tip that someone was out walking their dog in the woods around Tri-State Crematory, and they discovered human bones.
Oh, how weird.
So finally, they were like, all right, maybe there's something to this.
Could be the crematory?
I don't
Doubt
know.
it. Doubt it. But it could be the crematory.
Something is going on.
Where they have dead bodies. But, well, I mean, I'm not going to just blindly throw the blame. You know.
So they finally decided that it was time to go ahead and make an actual search of what was going on. So on February the 15th of 2002, investigators came and they did a search, and they found piles of rotting human bodies in storage sheds, vaults scattered throughout the property.
Nice.
There were corpses found in hospital gowns, wrapped in sheets. Some were laying out in the opens in the wood, out in the open in the woods.
Nice.
Some were dragged and stacked in storage sheds. Others were sealed in vaults, just packed full with bodies. One was even found stuffed halfway into the cremation machine. The grounds were littered with corpses, but also skeletal remains dating back years.
Gross.
It was an absolute fucking nightmare. Like...
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That sounds awful.
Eventually, investigators found 339 bodies on the premises that had not been cremated.
That's too many.
That's a lot
1,
of bodies.
2, 50. You could see.
Yeah, you could see, but 300.
That's too many.
39 bodies.
Is that pieces from 339?
No,
339 total bodies.
339 separate corpses.
That's ridiculous.
So it was so bad that they had to call in a federal emergency management team. Excuse me. So they had to bring in, like I said, the disaster team, along with like a portable morgue that they had shipped from Maryland. And
that's a thing?
Yeah.
Are they also called FEMA tents? Is that the same thing?
But
Hey.
Basically.
Thank you. Y'all can't see me, but I am bowing in my house to no one. Actually, I take that back. Steve is here. I'm bowing to the cat.
So
he appreciated it.
It took them a really long time to start deciding how many corpses they had on their hands, because like I said, they were in various states of decomposition.
Awful.
And then they had to start trying to identify the remains and see if they could match them back up with the people that were supposed to have gotten them back. You know what I mean?
Yes. The people who were supposed to have received ashes.
Exactly.
You mean?
Exactly. Family, I guess, most of the time. So they began trying to identify the remains, and they ended up identifying 226 through DNA testing. But in several, in the rest of the cases, it was just the decomposition was so bad that they really couldn't figure out who was who and what was what.
Well,
but go ahead.
Well, I just had a question. You were talking about giving the ashes back. Did people did anyone ever raise an issue with not receiving the remains of someone?
No, because he had been giving them boxes of concrete dust.
Okay. I figured it was something like that, something was happening. I didn't know if we were getting there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
so
you said that they were trying to match them up and give them out. I didn't know if anyone had ever said I never got something.
Nope, because they all did. He was sending out bags and boxes of concrete dust. And if you've ever seen cremated remains, I mean, that's basically what it looks like. Yeah. It is. And so people had these boxes of quote-unquote ashes of their dead relatives, and just concrete, just regular industrial concrete.
When I die, I want to have a fucking pyre, like out on the lake.
I don't think that's legal.
Well, I don't give a fuck. Just find a piece of private land and do it. I want to be set on fire on a lake.
Sounds great.
I mean, I would love it.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be dead, but...
Yeah, but knowing that it's going to happen, I would die with a smile on my face.
Excellent. That we could burn off. Anyway.
Oh, it'll be burned on, my love.
You're right. So like I said, they were giving back, or he was giving back concrete in replace of the cremated remains. But the thing is, they found those 339 bodies, but...
Excuse me.
He, during this time period... had received over 2,000 bodies, and he had cremated a majority of those bodies. Like, he'd cremated more than he didn't cremate.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, a whole lot more.
The question is, what the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? Because it takes so much more effort to, like, because it's a big property, and they were, like I said, instead of just like, okay, body is received at the crematorium, you wait, the body goes in the oven, you turn on the gas, 4 hours, depending on how big, etc. Later, Crem You Later, ship them off. That's like all a contained process.
Is there actually something called a Crem You Later?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you were saying, like, I didn't know if you were making a pun on see you later.
No.
Crem You Later, That's what I thought you were doing.
No, a Crem You Later is a machine that you put in so like when
that does the cremation.
No, it's not. So you've got your cremation machine, and it's going to burn the body to ashes, but those ashes are still going to be really rough and like still fragments of bones and stuff. A Crem You Later is what you put those ashes in, and it grinds them down into a finer powder so you can return them to the family.
Yeah.
That's
so it's easier to give them back. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a process, and that's fine, and but instead of just doing what the fuck he's supposed to for all the bodies, every so often, I guess, he just like decides to like physically lift and pull these bodies all over this fucking property and stack them and place them in all sorts of weird, like, what? That's so much fucking effort.
I want to interject something here.
Go ahead.
That I feel is, oh my God, this is so amazing that I get to do this. There's an episode of one of the Law and Order series. I believe it's Criminal Intent. I could be wrong. Is that where you're getting? All right, never mind, because it's fucking awesome. Go.
I've never seen it, but
No,
I did read.
I've seen
notes.
it. I've seen it, and it's Jim Gaffigan is the goddamn crematorium guy.
Is he really?
It's Jim Gaffigan, and he's the one. And like the explanation they give in the episode, I really don't remember because I saw it many years ago. But I think it's something like we just didn't have the money or the time to cremate all these bodies, so I just stacked them up or something. It was something weird like that.
Yeah, it was an episode based on this.
Yeah, and I knew it, and God, I remember that episode because it was fucking Jim Gaffigan. I remember. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to.
Jim Gaffigan looks like the polar opposite of what Ray Brent Marsh looks like. Because Jim Gaffigan is a big fat white guy. And
Well, he's not big and fat.
Well-
He's pasty.
he's a chunky old white man.
Yeah,
And
but
at
the time, he wasn't. I mean, they
and
did this like mid-2000s.
Ray Brent Marsh was a 28-year-old black football player. Like, just completely opposite.
I had
Thanks,
no
Hollywood.
idea this was a black man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, Jim Gaffigan also played football in college.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, he kind of fits it, but,
He is the whitest human being on the face of the planet.
he's very pasty.
They literally picked the whitest person, but whatever. Anyway.
Oh, man. Y'all find that Law and Order episode. I think it's Criminal Intent. It's a
anyway.
good one, though.
So, like I said, he was just the literal fuck. And, like, some people were like, okay, well, maybe the machine was broken. And that was, like, their initial thing was, oh, yeah, the oven was broken. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was in working order. Now, they did say that it was not properly ventilated, and that it was, like I said, it wasn't operating like it should have been 100%, but it was still working, and like, they cremated people all the time. Through this entire time period, they were cremating people just normally. Like, most of the people that went to Tri-State were cremated. But
Well
that
over 80%.
339 bodies, he was just like, you know what?
Might not be well over, but it's close to 80%.
But you know what I mean? Like, why? And that's the thing. They arrested him, and he had no answers. He admitted fault. He pled guilty. He was like, I don't know why I did it. I did. And I'm sorry, and there are no answers. That's what he kept saying, was like, there are no answers.
I just did it to do it.
I guess.
Yeah.
And so he was ultimately charged by the state of Georgia with 787 counts.
Ugh.
There were felonies, including theft by deception, abusing a corpse, burial service-related fraud, theft by deception. I said that already.
Yes.
Anyway, but like, his sentence could have been like thousands of years, because just like, there were like 787 felonies. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but anyway, they got a lawyer, and anyway, he ended up with a plea bargain, and he ended up with a sentence of 12 years in prison, which he served, and he got out in 2016.
Oh, so he's out.
He's out.
He's now not cremating other bodies.
He is now not cremating other people. But anyway, the families of the people that were identified as being victims of this insane malarkey. Can I call it malarkey?
Yes, you may call it malarkey. I allow it.
So like 1,700 members of these families basically banded together and sued the Tri-State Crematory and all of the funeral homes that had shipped bodies there. And they did a big class action lawsuit in 2 different states.
Yeah.
And they basically got awarded millions of dollars from the insurance that they had, the estate of Tommy Marsh, who died during the litigation process of whatever illness he was suffering from previously. And they eventually settled for, I think it was $36 million.
That's not bad.
And then there was a second trial, and I don't know, it was up to like $80 million, I think, at that point. There's a lot of like very minute like legal details if you're really interested in it. I'm sure you can look it up. But basically what everybody wants to know is what the fuck happened, and you know?
I just want to say, I'm looking on IMDb to find this. The title of this episode with Jim Gaffigan, it is Law & Order Criminal Intent. It's from 2002, and the episode is called Dead.
Dead?
Yeah.
What a creative title.
Yeah. And it literally is this. It's like it starts with a crazy killer of some sort, and before you know it, you're at this crematorium where he's just not burying the bodies, but I think that they turned him into also a murderer.
Okay. Well, he
who's
was
not cremating. Or he was murdering and cremating and passing that off as something else, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's the same story where he's not cremating people.
Yeah.
And it was so entertaining.
Yeah. Ray Ritmarsh never killed anybody. He just, like, went crazy and didn't cremate the people he was supposed to.
Well, see, that's the thing is, from what I'm gathering here, the arrest was made in February of 2002, didn't you say? Yeah, this episode aired in September of 2002, so they turned it around real fucking quick.
It was a really big deal when it happened.
Yeah.
And, like, the popularity of cremation went down severely across the United States there for several years after that happened because people were so freaked out about it.
That's really funny. Mm-hmm. That's really funny.
But, like, here was his statement in court when he pled guilty. And this is the quote. "To those of you who may have come here today looking for answers, I cannot give you." That's it.
Well,
he has no answers. And basically, like, his lawyer asked him, and, like, he literally just didn't know. Like, he just... But there are several different theories as to what could have been going on and why he didn't or did, you know.
Mm-hmm. So
the first reason people sort of push out is like he was pissed off that he had to leave college and his football career, and that he was just basically trying to ruin his dad's business. It was just a big fuck you, Dad.
I think that was part of the episode as well, was it's a family thing. And,
yeah.
Oh, God, just watch that episode. It's so good.
And to me, that doesn't ring terribly true because, like, it just doesn't seem that way. Like, there's
I just think he wasn't passionate about it, and he was just like, fuck it, I'm not going to do this work.
There are other ways to say fuck you, Dad, other than not cremating 400 bodies. Like, that's...
Well, it could just be an impulsion, a psychotic break of some kind where he's like, I'm just going to stack these bodies, you know, and he's not doing it to all of them. He's doing it to a select few, and he's like, I'm going to put this one over here, but I'll cremate these 4, you know.
See, and then other people are like, oh my God, he was just so lazy, he didn't want to have to cremate him. But like I said before...
He did 1,700 of them.
I was going to say, A, he did a shit ton of them, but B, like, dragging a body through the woods is way harder than just like rolling it into the cremation machine. Like, that's he's not being lazy, he's being creepy as fuck, but that's not lazy. Like, that is a strenuous physical activity trying to lug a body around.
Yeah,
it is.
It's not something I'd do.
But then another one, and this is what his lawyer, after all of the litigation was over and all of the appeals were over and stuff like that, when he was no longer an acting attorney for this guy, he came out with his theory, and it's what I actually tend to think was more likely to have been the issue. Now, when you cremate people, a lot of older people still have dental fillings that have mercury in them. So they have a mercury amalgam fillings in their dentistry. And a lot of base metals and stuff like that were still used in dentistry even just a few years ago. You know, I mean, like our parents' age kind of thing.
Yep.
And so when you cremate a body, everything in the body obviously is reduced to ash, and then that kind of stuff burns off and the fumes are released. Well, we had talked previously saying that the cremation machine was in working order, but the ventilation wasn't proper. So they believe that
Excuse me.
fumes from the mercury amalgam fillings had gradually, the improper ventilation of how their system was built caused the fumes to vent back on them when they were burning the bodies, and that mercury will collect in your brain and it'll make you fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And they believe that that's the sickness, the mystery illness, the problem that his dad was suffering from, because his dad went a little nutty too.
Did he? What did he do that was nutty?
Well, I mean, these bodies went back to like 10 years previous.
Oh, so the dad was moving them too.
Well, I mean, it's never been discussed that I can see, and it was never brought up. Because, like I said, the dad was dead during the litigation process. He was sick and died.
Well, why would the son say, I didn't do all this? I did some of it, but not all of it.
I don't know.
You know what? Maybe he actually cremated all of them, and all the ones that were moved out were not him.
I don't know, because, I mean, like they said, there were skeletal remains at that point, and he had only been running it for a little while, and they said, you know, the bodies went back about 10 years, and he had not been operating it that long. So my guess is the daddy was in on it too. Maybe, maybe not. This is pure speculation on my part. But basically, so if you've ever heard the term "mad as a hatter," the reason
I have.
The reason that term is "mad as a hatter" is because people that made hats, back when you made hats by hand like that, some of the materials that you use to coat the hat felt and to make them size and stay the way you are is a mercury compound. And that mercury compound would sink into the hatter's hands because just touching it, the blood-brain barrier for that particular compound is, I mean, you touch it and it's in your bloodstream. And so that will collect in your brain over a time, and it will make you fucking nuts. Like, people that made hats, milliners at the time, were legitimately fucking crazy because of the chemicals that they were working with. So, like I said, it's a similar compound that are found in those dental apparatuses, and most crematories have proper ventilation, and it's not a problem, and it's vented to the outside where it's safe and it's not a big deal. But like I said, this was built on sort of a budget, and it was not regulated because, I mean, at the time it wasn't.
Didn't need to be.
It didn't need to be because Georgia only inspected places that directly interfaced with the public, and instead of being something that the public went to, it was funeral homes sent bodies there, they sent them back to the funeral homes, and then so there was no direct public contact, so they didn't have to be inspected, and so a lot of people think that he just legitimately went crazy from all of the fumes that he had breathed in from that mercury.
Right.
So, I mean, it could be mercury toxicity, and he just legit went crazy.
Yeah. I think I could get behind that. But did they ever say that he exhibited other signs, or was it just when he was handling bodies? There's very, very little information on him after he went to prison. And now that he's out of prison, I mean, he's out doing... He's free. He served his sentence.
He served his sentence. 2016, he's out. He's been out for a few years. 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. He was released on June the 29th of 2016 from Central State Prison in Bibb County, Georgia.
Nice.
And he did serve the full 12-year sentence. But as far as anybody can tell, like, he's never offered any other explanation. He has completely admitted that it was his fault. He was guilty. He's apologized, but he's offered no reason behind what he did. No.
Well, maybe he doesn't have one.
But how do you not have a reason for carrying 300 bodies into the woods and just like
Well, he didn't do all of them.
playing Lincoln Logs with them? Like, the hell?
Well, he, I mean, it could have just been an impulsion brought about by that mercury poisoning.
Which is, it's a very, like I said, that's the only thing that really strikes me as, yeah, I can get behind that. Because other than just being, because I mean, like, I don't mean to be gross, but like, I could see if there was like a necrophilia something going on, or like
was fucking 'em.
he wanted to spend time with the bodies or something like that. Okay, that's disgusting. It's awful, but like, I get it. There's a motivation, but there was no sign of any kind of post-mortem trauma or any, like no signs of anything like that. He wasn't doing anything gross to the bodies except just leaving them out places instead of cremating them. But I mean, there was clearly a criminal intent there, though, because criminal intent. Sorry, didn't mean to.
Watch Jim Gaffigan explain to you why it happened.
Oh, stop with the Gaffigan.
Can't.
But like, he was giving them cement, so like there was an intent to deceive there.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Exactly.
Just nobody knows what.
So I want to know what kind of fucked up nonsense was going on and why. Like, was he like dancing around him in a circle, calling that banshee lady from the first story? Like, what's going on?
Let's hope that he wasn't doing that. I mean, please, can we hope for that? Where was the Tar River?
North Carolina.
Yeah, that's a little far.
A little far.
He wasn't doing that.
Probably not.
No.
I'm a little drunk. Shut up.
So is that it for the stories?
Yeah, I mean, that was it. But, like, what a fucking story. Like, what?
Yeah, that's too much of a story.
339 bodies.
Yeah.
And then, like, a lot of the victims' families were really like, how can his family not know what was going on? Because he had a wife and a mom and a sister and all that shit going on. And they were like, clearly they knew what was going on, but they were like, no, we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, why would they clearly know?
Well, because they all lived on the property.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit.
I would think it would start to smell after a while.
They live in a crematorium. It always is going to smell like burning body either way.
I guess, but to me, something's a little iffy. But
no, I don't agree with that.
In 2006, in February, they actually did charge the mother and the sister. They were indicted on charges of making false statements on people's on death certificates.
Mm-hmm.
But those charges were dismissed in 2008, so they never faced any kind of consequences for any possible involvement.
Well, they could have been part of it, but I just don't feel that they had to be part of it. I think this is something he absolutely could have done himself, him and his dad.
Yeah, I get it, but like, after a while, and then the sheriff's office had so many opportunities to be like, yeah, there's bodies around here. What the fuck?
They didn't look around. They were too busy.
When someone says, excuse me, but I'm pretty sure there are bodies, not just one, not bodies,
Yeah.
in the woods, maybe we should fucking go check it out.
Nah.
They didn't twice.
Well, what are you going to do?
Not send your body there.
I don't plan to.
No. Well, I mean, they razed all of those buildings to the ground. It's gone.
Yeah.
They have a memorial, a big, like, marble thing that's dedicated to the unidentified victims of that particular event.
Yeah. They remained unclaimed, like over 100 of them.
Yeah, they could
That's
never
ridiculous.
identify which people they were. So, yeah. That was the Tri-State Crematory incident.
Incident. We're calling it an incident.
Well, what else are you going to call it?
Oh.
Clusterfuck?
Yeah. Tri-State Crematorium Clusterfuck. Tri-State Crem You Fuck.
Oh, that just sounds gross.
You're right. That's not good enough. Cluster Crem. No, it's worse. It's worse. I don't think it's worse, but it's not good.
Nope.
No. I don't know. Well, I think that's about it then.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I do.
Well, we'll cut to a toast to these stories tonight.
All right, let's toast.
What are we toasting?
We're toasting the Tar River Banshee and those poor people from Tri-State.
From
Are you
all three
ready?
states. There is no tri-state. There is the people who were unidentified.
Yeah, those folk.
There we go. That I
I
am
want
ready.
you to lift your goblet high into the air as I toast those people that I was talking about earlier.
The tri-staters.
Yeah. Don't wander in August on the banks of Tar River. You'll hear a grave wail that'll make your bones shiver. If you've got a corpse that you want to cremate, try sending it anywhere else but Tri-State. Drink.
Good one this week.
Hey, I know how to use a rhyming dictionary.
It was a good poem. Toast?
Toast.
Toast poem this week.
Toast 'em.
It was a good toast 'em.
Toast 'em if you
Toast
got 'em. Am I right? Hey.
It was very nice. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for working hard on it this week.
I did a good job.
Yeah, so we'll get before we go to the outro, let's just say if anybody wants some more stickers from us, you can see them on our Instagram. All you've got to do is send us a review that you've made either on iTunes or you can review us on Facebook. Maybe Spotify. Do they have a review? Google Play, anything like that? I don't know. Find somewhere to review us. Screenshot it. Email it to us at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com with your address and name, and we will send you out a pack of what are you doing? 5 or 10 stickers? 5 stickers. That way you can distribute them, put them anywhere that people might see them.
Or hoard them like a little sticker dragon.
Give a fuck. Put all 5 of them right next to each other in your bathroom where you can see them while you're on the toilet.
That was a very, very graphic description, Mitchell.
Well, I mean, like within a few weeks, the steam from the shower will make them disintegrate anyway and peel off. But you can have them until then.
So if you need your potty stickers.
If anyone needs potty stickers, you know where to find us. That might be an episode title right there. Hashtag potty stickers.
No, absolutely not.
But for all other inquiries, please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Southern Spirits Podcast. Do follow us on Twitter. I've been trying on Twitter, but I still can't fucking crack how to get followers.
Be funny.
Well, I mean, I try to tweet, but I also don't have much to say. And I'm just not very interesting. But we're on Twitter at S Spirits Podcast. So
in case you want to be bored,
yeah, so seek us out there.
What a great
for some
pitch,
boring
Mitchell.
content. But hey, I really need to ramp up the Twitter. I'm going to try. I've been doing What We're Drinking Wednesdays for a few weeks now, and it's going fantastically. Almost no one has retweeted or liked. So, it's going great. I'm going to keep it up. We do have quite a bit of followers, though. I just haven't been able to make anything happen.
Well,
but anyway.
Instagram is booming and rocking, and everybody loves us there. So
yeah.
If you're not big on the Twitter game, follow us on Instagram because I'm in charge over there, and we have a great time all the time.
Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just follow the Instagram and don't worry about tweeting. But if you have any fun stories you want to tell us, or any fun alcohols you want to tell us about, any breweries we should try, or distilleries, send us that stuff at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. If you have any fun things you want to send us, we love postcards. Well, Leah loves postcards.
I do.
I will accept postcards. We have a P.O. Box. That's P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama, HARTSELLE 35640. And I believe that is it for the information this week. So we'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.